Presentation is on attention restoration theory, and our article was the restorative effects of observing natural and urban scenery after working memory depletion by Van Oort. And basically their big picture question was if nature can restore depleted cognitive attention, and specifically their research question was after a difficult working memory task, can observing a naturalistic scene versus an urban scene restore cognitive performance and focus?
So for the method, 72 university students participated in the study, and this included 50 females and 22 males. The participants were from various majors, however, the most prevalent were psych majors. Individuals who were majoring in psychology received course credit, and participation was voluntary with no compensation from those who were not psych majors. The participants were randomly assigned to one of three conditions using random allocation software, one of two experimental conditions, and a control group. The experiment conditions included images shown to participants from natural scenery that represented a Dutch natural environment setting, and images were taken from a park in a Dutch city. Images were shown, and the second one were images were shown to participants from an urban scenery that represented a Dutch city environment, and these images were taken from several residential areas in a large city in the Netherlands. For the materials and tasks, this experiment was conducted via an Inquisit software. It included the Trier Mental Challenge Test, also known as the TMCT, which induced cognitive depletion, as well as a showing of 30 images of either natural or urban environments, based on the experimental group the participant was in. For this experiment, those in the control group who did not look at images from neither a natural nor an urban environment. Finally, after viewing these images, or not if the participant was in the control group, participants would complete a digit span test. This test included participants seeing or hearing a sequence of numbers, and after a short time, they're asked to repeat the numbers in the same order until they made 2 consecutive errors. Participants did this test with both the forward way and the backward way, where they recalled the numbers in reverse order to measure working memory capacity. This procedure was completed from the participant's home from an emailed link. They gave consent and completed the TMCT, and then were placed in their experimental groups and participated in the experiment. So here is an example of the 2 experimental groups that participants may have been part of. They viewed these images, the nature group shown on the right and the urban group shown on the left, plus some more that were not pictured in this slide, and then all groups, including the control group, completed the digit span test.
Okay, so the results from this article and from the experiment they did is that natural scenes are definitely better than urban scenes, and nature better recovers and restores working memory performance, and the city and many urban environments do not. And this is very much in support of attention restoration theory, because it shows that natural environments can help replenish depleted attention, and just that even going outside can help someone refocus. And although the statistics from this are mild, they were still significant, and the improvement was there. And a brief exposure to natural environment images can aid cognitive restoration. And in this experiment, they didn't even go outside. They just looked at the pictures, and doing something as simple as that still helped replenish their attention. Some limitations to this experiment was that the environment and the fact that the study was conducted remotely, and that the sample size was limited to young university students, and they were mainly psychology majors. Time was also a limitation because there were only short-term measurements, and there could have been a color bias because nature is mainly green and has lots of vibrancy, and urban images are mostly brown and gray and kind of blah, so it definitely is a limitation. This research is important because it provides evidence that exposure to nature can improve working memory capacity, and it shows that even digital nature can restore attention. Again, you don't necessarily have to even go outside, but just looking at things like that will help. And findings can be used in school or work settings to increase attention, and they can utilize this in many different environments. And future research should examine long-term effects or test other executive functions.
Thank you. And here is a 15-second video to help.